Hey, eighth grade. So your independent station for today is going to be very similar to what you started working on yesterday in your direct instruction station. It's really important that we're focused because this is going to help us a lot with writing our MLQ essays tomorrow. If just a reminder, if you don't have headphones in already, if you haven't been reminded, this needs to go silent or it needs to go to subtitles. So our independent station today is still on character traits. The writing prompt that we're working with is the same writing prompt that we worked with yesterday. Write an essay analyzing how particular lines of dialogue or incidents in the story reveal aspects of the protagonist's personality. Then analyze how these character traits lead them to their ultimate decision. Remember to use details from the text to support your answer. So we're writing an essay that analyzes how particular lines of dialogue, and remember that dialogue is conversations between characters, or it can be inner dialogue, which is conversations inside a character's head. And incidents are events or problems that happen in the text. And you should be annotating your prompt as I'm annotating this. Events or problems. And how they reveal or show us aspects of the protagonist, our main character's personality. So we want to think about our main character's personality. And remember, we're using personality and traits as synonyms. They mean the same thing in this prompt. Then we're going to analyze how those character traits, so whatever you decided your main character was, lead them to their ultimate decision. An ultimate decision is pretty self-explanatory. It means, what do they decide to do at the end of the story? That's their ultimate decision. So what we need to do is read our excerpt, think about our character traits and personality, the dialogue or incidents that help to show those, and then think about our character's ultimate decision and the character traits that lead them there. I'm going to go ahead and read this text. While I'm reading this text, you should be annotating it on your paper. I should see underlines, circles, and notes in the margin. I'm not going to be doing a lot of that here. There should be a lot more on your paper than there is on mine. That's how we annotate, and we always annotate. So read the following excerpt to determine the protagonist's character traits and personality. Underline lines of dialogue, inner dialogue, or incidents that occur to support your answer. So remember, we're looking, what is our main character's character traits or personality? What evidence do we have that leads us there? What is our character's ultimate decision? And what traits led them to make that decision? Childhood Blues by Grace Moore. What they don't tell you when you are a young child is that you are supposed to tell the truth. Sometimes. Like when your mother asks you who left the milk on the table overnight and she has to throw the whole gallon out, that's when you tell the truth. Even when you borrow your younger sister's favorite shirt without asking and get a stain on it, that's also when you tell the truth. But no one told me that sometimes the truth hurts as bad as getting punched in the deepest part of your soul. I remember when I was 10 years old and my grandmother made me a red, blue, and yellow hat for Christmas. She knitted it by hand, twisting and turning fibers for weeks. I knew that if anyone saw me in it, I would be the laughing stock of the 5th grade. I can't wear that, I said, pointing to its edges. It looked like a squirrel that someone left on the side of the road and poured paint onto. My grandmother just looked at me and said nothing. She squinted real small and stared at the floor. She never made me another hat again. Sometimes I think about her today and wish that I had just said thank you. So I'm going to look at the first paragraph with you to figure out what are some character traits of our narrator. So one thing is that she's talking about telling the truth. And she's saying that even when you do something wrong, even when you leave the milk out or you borrow your favorite sister's shirt without asking and get a stain on it, that's when you tell the truth. So I know that my narrator tells the truth no matter what, even if she's going to get in trouble. So I'm going to say that my narrator is honest as a character trait. And I underlined 2 pieces of evidence that show me that my character is honest. So in this box, the first trait I'm going to put is honest. And the evidence that I'm going to put is borrow your younger sister's favorite shirt without asking and get a stain on it. That's also when you tell the truth. That evidence shows us that even though she knows she's going to get in trouble, even though she knows her sister's going to be mad, she's still honest. What I want you to do now is to look at this paragraph and decide these 2 paragraphs and decide what is a trait that our character shows here. And then I want you to look at the final paragraph and think about what is a trait that our character shows here. So we have 1 trait as honest. I expect for there to be 2 more traits with 2 more pieces of evidence in your boxes when we check today. You need to be looking at the next 2 sets of paragraphs to find a character trait and evidence to reveal that trait. Pause your video and go ahead and do that now, and then you can start it back up and we'll look at the next part. So you should have 3 character traits and 3 pieces of evidence in your box now. Now we need to think about what is our character's ultimate decision and how did her traits lead us there? So when we look at an ultimate decision, we should be looking at what does she decide to do at the end of our text. I know that she tells her grandmother here that she's not going to wear the hat. That is a decision that our character makes. And she makes it because she's self-conscious. But I want us to also think about this last section of the text. It says, she never made me another hat again. Sometimes I think about her today and wish I had just said thank you. I want you to think about what is the decision our narrator is making there. She's deciding that in the future, she will not tell the truth if it will hurt someone's feelings. So she's a really honest character, but what she's learned is that telling the truth can sometimes really hurt people's feelings. So what character traits lead us to our character's ultimate decision? There should be traits of her honesty, but there should also be another trait that you found in this last section of the text that shows why our character decides that in the future, she's not going to tell the truth if it's going to hurt someone's feelings. What is the trait there that is showing us that that's what our character is going to do? Why does she as a person do this? Once you can pause your video, get your evidence of the character trait. What is the trait and how do you know? And then we're going to move on. Great. So all of these boxes should be filled in. And now you're going to actually start writing this. Write an essay analyzing how particular lines of dialogue or incidents in the story reveal aspects of the protagonist's personality. Then analyze how these character traits lead them to their ultimate decision. Remember to use details from the text to support your answer. This is the same prompt we've been working with for yesterday and for this whole lesson. So what do you need to do? You need to look at your writing prompt checklist and make sure that you hit every single thing in this checklist. In the first paragraph, you should answer the questions, what is the protagonist's personality or character traits, and what dialogue or incidents reveal this trait? That is what you see right here. Your first paragraph should have at least 2 pieces of evidence. It should restate, answer, give evidence, and explain evidence, and you can use this as a checklist. Once you finish that first paragraph, restating and answering and giving evidence, you can move on to the second paragraph. What is the character's ultimate decision, and what traits lead them to this decision? Again, you need to refer to these boxes and use evidence from the text and use your checklist. You're going to practice writing now, and I've given you the first sentence. In Childhood Blues by Grace Moore, the author reveals aspects of the protagonist's personality through dialogue, inner dialogue, and incidents in the story. We expect that you have 2 complete paragraphs answering these questions when you're done. Good luck.